Oh my goodness. It is 7:03 on the west coast of the United States of America. It is 10:03 on the east coast, up and down. 3:04 just changed over in the afternoon in London. And New South Wales, 12:04 just after midnight. And in Malaysia, it of course, as always, is 1972. I'm Jay Sheldon, and I'm not wearing pants. That always gets a big round of applause. Why is that? And what is wrong with my microphone? Hmm. Let me see here. Okay, that's fine. Apparently, it's my headphones. I do have a bit of an echo, don't I? That's odd. I don't know why. Very strange. For some reason, it's. Hey, Crystal Violin, hello! Welcome to the stream. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Nice to have you here. Hearty hi ho and a round of applause to Crystal Violin. Why? Let me try something else here. Check. No, that's not working either. Okay, now the hell with it. We'll just go with what we got. Starting soon. Oh my god. It is so screwed up. Okay, I think I've got almost everything fixed. Oh my. I am so totally unprepared for tonight. I mean, I'm prepared. I got stuff to talk about. But it was like last minute trying to fire everything up, get everything going. Hang on, let me just dump that. There we go. Oh man. Nah, I think I liked it better the other way. Hold on. There. One more up. And yeah, it's still hot. Oh my god, it is hot as hell here. It never stops. It is. It's this hot. Your haircut reminds me of Duke Nukem. Jay Nukem, right? Yeah, I'll tell you what. When I got into law enforcement in the Florida Keys, in Key West and the Florida Keys, Southern Florida, I got this buzz cut, this flat top haircut, and that was 19. Oh my God, that was 25 years ago, and I liked it. It was so easy to take care of. It's just completely buzzed right flat on the sides and in the back, and then the top just has a nice, attitude flat top, and so I stayed with it even when I got out of law enforcement. I stayed with the haircut, and to this day, still do. Fortunately, fortunately, the Mamak barbers here know how to do a good flat top, so that saved me. Okay, so yeah, again today, unbelievably, oppressively hot, just insane. It's beyond. Um, Law enforcement was the second best career I ever had. I think I've told this story a million times. When I was growing up, I wanted to do two things. I wanted to be a DJ on the radio, and I wanted to be a cop. I was too short and fat to be a cop. They had height and weight requirements. So I went into radio, spent an amazing career in radio, television, film, went through the whole thing, and then moved with my partner to from Connecticut to Key West in Florida. And one of the best paying jobs down there was the sheriff's department, and they had dropped the height and weight requirements. So even though I was still sort of short and fat, I passed the exam and the background check and the psychological exam. So I don't know how I got through that, but yeah. So I worked for the sheriff's department for a couple of years, and then I was appointed to the Internal Affairs Division. So I was an IAD inspector, Internal Affairs detective for 3 years. That's the job I left to move to Malaysia because I fell in love. Oh, yeah, I know. No regrets, though. No regrets. It was a great job. It was amazing. I would do it again in a minute. um, it was truly a remarkable career, and I worked alongside some of the best of the best. Those guys were Sheriff Rick Roth, who has since passed, rest his soul, and some of the amazing folks on the sheriff's department. They were incredible. In fact, some of them are still friends to this day. Lenny Alonso. Lenny, if you're out there, tip of the hat to you. We are dear friends on Facebook, and we speak now and then. Heartwarming story of a grandpa. I am not a grandpa. Not yet. Not a grandpa yet. So, yeah, not yet. Apparently, they're working on it. See what happens. Okay, I gotta stick this up there. I think I have to. Excuse me. Oh my. Part of my day today was spent with a remarkable walk in the park with our dog, and it was amazing. Let me just cut that up a little bit. There we go. Yeah, she looks so nice with her coloring against the yellow leaves here. So we thought, what a great spot for a shot. You got booed by the crowd. No, 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 no. That's no, that wasn't a boo for you. That was a boo for me. Yeah, that's me. Oh my goodness! Look, you can see I'm not wearing pants. There's this little gazebo that has a round top on it. It's hard; you can't see it in this picture, but the sun was just going down. We caught a little bit of sun because there was a rain cloud right over top, and it was raining, so we had to take a quick break and hide in the gazebo. She loves it in there. So that is us hanging out. Again, her with these amazing yellow leaves that fell off this tree here. I don't know what kind of tree that is, but it's beautiful. And there you go. Another glam shot. She's an amazing dog. She really is. She is the joy of my life. Ichiko Mikoto, or Miko for short. Yeah, so that was our evening before we went out to a very confusing dinner. Look, if you're in Malaysia, you'll know what I mean. Apparently, we're not under house arrest anymore because everybody and their goddamn brother is out on the roads or parked in the parking lots. There is no parking anywhere. Tried to go to SS15 to the Japanese restaurant that we like, and there was absolutely no parking anywhere, not even illegal parking. All the parking under the part where the birds are in the trees, where they poop on the cars, even those were taken tonight. Strawberry Mikoto. Yeah. So those were all gone. We wound up we tried to go to the Chinese stalls in the other part of SS15. No parking anywhere. What did we find? Oh, I know. We went to Burger King. You know, well, at least better than McDonald's, but yeah, anyway. So they have this steakhouse Whopper, which is really nice. If you haven't been, I know you're not all big fast food fans, but if you have to, then yeah, park on the sidewalk. You know what? It's Malaysia, so almost anything goes. Why not? Hey, we did a story. I forget, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, where we highlighted this picture. I don't know if you'll remember it or not. You can always watch back. Where they had put up a signpost for on the like a highway sign, but the posts of all the posts in the road, one of them went right through the middle of the sidewalk, blocking. I mean, forget bicycles, but even walking became difficult. Well, guess what? Check this out. No viral, no action. Now look, it was not, I want to make this clear, it was not because of me, but this image did go viral. I suppose I probably helped a bit. But Malaysia shows how posting online helps solve a construction error. And this is it. You may recognize this picture. This was the picture that I showed you of the signpost right in the middle of the sidewalk. And then apparently, some amount of days later, this. I don't know whether, did they move the signpost or did they move the whole sidewalk? You know what? I will almost told you they moved the sidewalk. I promise you, I don't know. I can't, can you tell from the picture? Here's the trees. There's the trees there. See other? I think they moved the sidewalk. They did. Yeah, look here. You can see there's the brick sidewalk there and here. They moved. They moved the sidewalk. Oh my God. Seriously, that needs some more than. That needs a little gunfire. All right. Anyway, they moved it. All right. So there's that. But are you kidding me? Oh man, that is beyond funny. Oh look, there's my talk show. Oh, they moved the sidewalk. Yeah. Well, anyway, look. At least something happened. That's the good part, right? Okay, what else have we got to chit chat about? By the way, if you want to join me, Skype in. Right there. There's a phone number. 860-598-0987 is the number to call. You can call that from any phone anywhere on Earth, but toll charges might apply. Or if you have Skype open, just Skype Jay Sheldon. You'll see me. You'll see this little logo there. It's called I'm Not Wearing Pants. I've got Skype up and running. So if you want to join in the show, you can do that. The call is now active. So all you got to do is call, and just like that, boom, you'll be on the show. Now, for some reason, all of a sudden, I can hear my microphone, and I couldn't before. Why is that? Hold on, I got to check this out. Something weird is going on. Do I sound funny to you? I mean, other than my voice always sounds funny? Because for some reason, when I turned Skype and activated the call, all of a sudden my mic came in my headphones. Okay, what did Violin Crystal, what? People actually caring. That's not something you see every day. Imagine walking out to the sidewalk you usually see, and then suddenly it's moved. Yeah, imagine you're going home drunk or something, and suddenly you know it's a straight path, and suddenly it's like, whoa. That'd be fun. Hey, wherever you are joining the stream, thank you for doing that. Be sure you like, subscribe, share. All those are important. If you are on Facebook, the page is called I'm Not Wearing Pants. On YouTube, it's just Jay Sheldon. Look for, I think, this logo or my ugly face. And also, of course, twitch.tv, Jay Sheldon No Pants, where, by the way, you can also pick up your Jay Sheldon No Pants merchandise. Check out twitch.tv/Jay Sheldon No Pants. And then I think you go to the About section on my page. As a matter of fact, I can do that right now. So we go to Jay Sheldon No Pants, go to About, and then, yeah, you scroll down, get your Not Wearing Pants merch. Cool. So you can buy t-shirts and strange things like that. If you are so inclined, that would be nice. Thank you for doing that. All right, I got something else here, but I've got to do a, I should have a preview window, but I can't, so I won't. All right, this is, I saw this, and there's a story that goes with this. Let me just do a little edit here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, all right. Somebody posted this. Does anybody have solutions for blocking secondhand smoke from my neighbors? Wondering if planting a row of bamboo would help. All right. Now, look. Confession time, I am a smoker. I have always smoked. I've smoked since I was 16 years old, which means I've been smoking for about 150 years. I don't like smoking. I don't smoke in my house. I don't smoke when I eat. I don't like other people smoking in my house or smoking around when I eat. I would prefer, at least for eating a meal, to sit in the no smoking section. In fact, nowadays, there aren't any smoking sections in restaurants. They're all gone. In fact, in this ridiculous place, you have to be like 3 meters away from any restaurant in order to have a cigarette. Okay, so a lot of old people smoke, Crystal says. Yeah, look, and I, like I said, I do smoke. I've always smoked. I do not like smoking. I hate it. I hate everything about it, but I am completely addicted to nicotine, and I cannot quit. Don't bother, please. Don't even bother You can send me emails, jsheldon, or nopants@jsheldon.com is our email address. It isn't going to work. Doesn't matter. Don't waste your breath. I've tried literally everything. Cold turkey, hypnotism, acupuncture, patches, nicotine gum, you name it. Any one of the things you can come up with, I have tried it. Nothing has worked. The only thing that worked temporarily was the patch. Because basically, I don't enjoy the act of smoking. I am addicted to nicotine. Fully admit that. When I put the patch on, I'm getting the nicotine that I'm addicted to. So I put the patch on, fine. Now the idea is you wear this patch at a certain level, a high level, and then you slowly reduce the level down so many milligrams or whatever the hell it is. And then eventually, hopefully, you can just quit. With me, I take the patch off, boom, I want a cigarette. And this, I'm sorry, you believe what you want to believe. The earth is flat. We never landed on the moon. The CIA killed Kennedy. I mean, whatever. Pick your conspiracy. One of the things that has irked me has been this secondhand smoke crap. Nice to know everyone agreed smoking just smells bad. It does. It absolutely does. I agree with you. But secondhand, okay, if you are locked in a room full of smokers and you don't smoke and they're all puffing away and you can't get out and breathe some fresh air, yes, not healthy. But you're out goddamn side, for Christ's sake. Oh, my neighbors are smoking and it's, well, you know what? Come on. Seriously? Honestly, I smoke out, as I told you, I don't smoke in the house. I smoke outside. I have a little front porch, little table and chairs set up out there. I have neighbors on both sides of me. Nobody's bothered by my secondhand smoke. This just, you know what? I don't want to talk about it anymore. Get this off the screen. Dump that. I'm so over it. Invis Toby, hey, missed Thursday when I realized it was finished. Seems to be happening that day. There was a lot going on. Lately we've had so much going on. I think like, am I going to have anything to talk about? And then I wind up, doing an hour plus on random junk, which is exactly what the thumbnail said tonight. Random junk, because that's what it is. Like this ridiculous secondhand smoke. Give me a break. Okay, here's another one for all you screaming, crying memes out there. Sorry, I gotta edit this again. Oh man, everyone is different, I swear. Okay, check this out. You have all your green packaging and all that healthy stuff and everything. Well, here's one for you. Check this out. Let me try and stretch it a little bit bigger for you so you can see it. There we go. Innisfree has been forced to clarify its new paper bottle. Green Planet, climate change, whatever they're calling it this week. Well, this brand has come out with a paper bottle, which seems so eco-friendly. It's so great for the environment. Hey, check this out. We made a bottle out of paper. Isn't that cool? However, somebody tore it apart. And guess what's inside the paper bottle? A plastic bottle. Oops. Oops. I guess you weren't supposed to see that part, huh? Yeah. Very nice. Oh, man. That's good for the environment, isn't it? Very nice. Very nice. Oh, man. All right. What else have we got? Oh, this is a good one. This is cool. You know what? I fill this show with such random crap. It's amazing anybody even stays with us, but you do. So thank you for doing that. Like I said, you will find such a collection of crap here that you never know from one minute to the other. Some of it's political, some of it's no smoking, some of it's stop your whining and shut up. And other parts are just weird things that I find that I think are so cool. Like this one. Do you know where the uppercase, lowercase came from? You know, when you're typing or on the computer and you put things in uppercase, capitals, or you put them in lowercase letters. You know, like here, like I'll show you. Like, see, these are lowercase. Just in case you don't know what lowercase is, this is lowercase. And then, hold on, let me just pull this up. There's a reason why we call them uppercase and lowercase. You see this? The D, that's an uppercase. I mean, you know this, right? No, I'm sorry. My audience is not that stupid, okay? The paper over plastic thing feels like when Scooby Gang reveals a ghost. Ooh.
I like it. I love it. I want some more of it.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, check this out. This is so cool. There actually is a reason why we call them uppercase and lowercase letters. And it's because they actually, when the printers kept their letters in these boxes, because, you know, the original way that they would put together, say, a newspaper or a book is the guys would actually pull the letters out and put them into the blocks and the words and spaces and then run the ink over them and make a print. It was a long process. So they would actually keep the capital letters in the uppercase and the smaller letters in the lowercase, which is why we now, even to this day, refer to them as uppercase and lowercase letters. How cool is that? I know it's a little thing, but it's these little things that are so cool. You know what? I'm a little distracted here because I'm actually talking to my brother, who has threatened to come on the show, but I can't seem to talk him into doing it. So I'm chatting with him right now, trying to get him on the program, but for some reason, that's apparently more of a challenge than I thought. Excuse me. All right. Paper over plastic bottles. Yeah, like when the Scooby Gang. Yes, exactly. Okay. Cool beans. I got one or two more here for you. Let me just double check here. Yep. Okay. One or two more little bits of weird things that I found that I thought you thought would be cool. Check this out. Sears. If you don't know what Sears is, it's like the giant department store back in the day. Does Sears even exist anymore? I actually have no idea if Sears still exists. I gotta believe that it does. Anyway, back in the day, Sears sold homes through their catalog. The Sears catalog was very famous. You would get your giant, it was this thick, huge Sears catalog with all the stuff they had. It was like the Walmart. That was the store chain I was trying to think of. Sort of, except they actually paid their employees and had some instead of self-checkout crap. But Sears once sold actual houses in their catalog. They were a kit, and they had everything you needed for the home. Plumbing, heating, wiring, all the parts arrived by train to the buyer, who then had to assemble it themselves. And a lot of those houses, check this picture out, are still around and standing today. They're from 1916. There's a Sears home. It arrived by train, and the homeowner built it, put it together. And there's 2016. Same house, still standing today after what? That's 100 years. Yeah, 1916 to 2016. Holy crap. That is amazing. That is truly amazing. Yes, I have a crazy brother. He's an actor. He's done a whole bunch of incredibly wacky things in his life, and he is funny as hell. And I am dying to get him on the show, and I hope that I will be able to do that sometime. I'd rather do it where we plan it, not just last minute ad libby thing. So I don't know. If he can get on tonight, that'd be great. But if not, it's cool. We'll figure something out. I just got to get, it's my brother Michael. So if you want, message Michael, tell him, come on, I'm not wearing pants. Soon, please. We need you on the show. Yeah, he's he's a remarkable talent, and I look forward to having him on the program sometime. So yeah, how cool is that? They actually sent you the house and you built it. And one of the reasons I thought this was extra cool was that my father built our first house, the house that I was born in. Well, I was born at Charlotte Hungerford Hospital in Torrington, Connecticut, but we might have been living in what they called the State House at the time. But very shortly thereafterwards, when I was extremely young, my dad built our house, and it was a similar thing to what this Sears story was. It was a Grossman's home. Grossman's is a chain of hardware stores like Home Depot. I don't know if Grossman's is still around anymore. Maybe somebody in the U.S. can tell me if they are. But Grossman's did the same thing. They had homes you could buy, a complete package. Everything was included. They delivered it all to the site, and you built it. And the first home that I ever lived in was one that my father had built from Grossman's Homes. Very cool. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons I thought that was an interesting story. Let's see here. What do we got? It's haunted. Brother Sheldon, yes, indeed. Hey, Invis Toby, good to have you back. Arms are wobbly from moving decking. Oh, my goodness. You actually did some work, man. Good for you. Keep it up. Interested in meeting and hearing your brother, indeed. See, Michael? You are wanted. You are wanted and admired. Michael wearing pants. Wait, isn't that a group? Michael learns to rock. No, that's something else. That's something else entirely. All right, so check this out. I had to share this with you. Another couple little things here, but they're worth it. They're really cool. One of the things I cannot do is let Miko see this, because if Miko sees this, she will try it. Now, these are cats. So, cats being cats. But check this out. This is so funny. Watch this. Look at this. Oh my God. Right down. Watch this. I think you might have seen this one before. I've seen this one before. Miko loves belly rubs, by the way. Okay. And what exactly are you licking? Nice. Huh? This is insane. Yes, I've switched to cat videos on my channel. Ow. 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 Man, that looks painful. Oh my. I see now why people can spend hours watching these things. Oh. Unbelievable. Cat in the fridge? That's a cool cat. I
like it. I love it. I want some more of it.
All right, cool. Oh, man. That's amazing. All right, and one more thing that I have to share with you. I got to leave you on a good note. Never did think I'd watch a Twitch stream of an old man watching cats being dumb. Well, babe, there is a first time for everything. And there you go. Twitch.tv, a Twitch stream of an old man watching funny cat videos. All right, I got to share this one with you because this is absolutely amazing and incredible. And if I can just figure out what I'm doing here, give me half a second. Okay, there we go. Nope, not that way. Let's do it this way. stretch that over there. There we go. Stretch that over here and stretch that down there. See, Jay knows what he's doing. It may take him a little while, but he can figure it out. Folks, you got to watch this. Seriously, you've got to watch this. These are kids whose eyesight was so horribly bad, they were apparently legally blind. Not blind, but their eyes were so bad they were legally blind. And you can imagine a child of this age, if you see the expression on his face. This is mom, I think, about to put on a pair of glasses here for what will be the first time. And this will be the first time these kids have actually seen. And this is one of those videos that are like, I'm not crying. Are you crying? It's not me crying. It must be you crying. Just watch. Watch the expression on his face when he can see. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh man. There's a few of these. Honest to God, unbelievable. Look at that. Look at that. This is the first time these kids have ever actually been able to see mom's face, to see the world. What just absolute joy. Unbelievable. Watch this one. This just makes my heart swell. Oh man. This is incredible. Wow. Look at the laughter. She can actually see. Yeah. A revelation. Yeah, you're exactly right. That is incredible. One more. Look at that. Little glance out of the corner of her eye. Oh, man. If that doesn't warm your heart and make your day, I don't know what can. Amazing. Look at that. Wow. Yeah. Sorry. Wow. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. We all need stories like that to pick us up once in a while. And that's amazing. All right, folks. Guess what? We have a new book. Yes, we're doing Peter Pan. We're doing Peter Pan. So, yeah, I got a bunch of emails, a bunch of messages, and the votes came in. And I was not able to get clarification on White Wolf. What was it? Somebody suggested? I forget. Wolf Fang, White Fang. But I'm still trying. So that will be next if we can. Although Peter Pan is going to take a little bit of time because it's a long book, but a really cool story. And I thought, yeah, absolutely. If we're going to do a next book, let it be Peter Pan. That'll be fun with some great characters in there. And I'm warning you, the first chapter is a long one. It is a very long one. So be prepared. But if you don't know, I'll just do a brief explanation for you. When we first started this stream 47 streams ago, I started by reading a chapter in a book, which happened to be The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. And ever since then, we did a chapter of the book until we hit the end, and then we moved on to Alice in Wonderland. We just finished The Velveteen Rabbit, and that was great. And now, J.M. Barrie, James Matthew Barrie, and his amazing book, Peter Pan, which actually is technically called Peter and Wendy. So we are going to move into that. These books come to us courtesy of the Gutenberg Project. If you would like, check them out. Gutenberg.org is the URL, and they've got public domain books, all kinds, from science to entertainment to children's books, whatever it is, they are all there. They're all in the public domain. In order for me to be able to read these books, which is technically called a performance, I have to do ones that are in the public domain because I ain't paying for copyrights to read them. So that's what we do. And yeah, you hate Peter Pan. Oh, come on. Open your mind. Open your mind. Oh, the dogs are going crazy in the neighbor's house. Something's going on. Okay. So we better get to it. We've done 40 minutes so far, and I'm still not anywhere near the book. And indeed, it's a long one. The first chapter is a long one, so hang with us, huh? Again, just a final little plug here. If you'd like to help the stream out, you can donate right there on twitch.tv. If you click on that, or on our page, you'll see a place to donate in the About section. Also, YouTube or on Facebook. Facebook, there's a link, I think, up above or maybe down below. You can click there and send something along. If you are so inclined, no obligation. We just appreciate you being here. So Peter Pan, or Peter and Wendy, by J.M. Barrie. And this is Chapter 1, called Peter Breaks Through. All children grow up, except one. They soon know that they will grow up, and the way Wendy knew this was this. One day, when she was 2 years old, she was playing in a garden, and she plucked another flower and ran with it to her mother. I suppose she must have looked rather delightful, for Mrs. Darling put her hand to her heart and cried, "Oh, why can't you remain like this forever?" This was all that passed between them on the subject, and henceforth Wendy knew that she must grow up. You always know after you're 2. 2 is the beginning of the end. Of course, they lived at 14, and until Wendy came, her mother was the chief one. She was a lovely lady with a romantic mind and such a sweet, mocking mouth. Her romantic mind was like the tiny boxes, one within the other. They come from the puzzling East. However many you discover, there is always one more, and her sweet, mocking mouth had one kiss on it that Wendy could never get, though there it was, perfectly conspicuous, in the right-hand corner. The way Mr. Darling won her was this. The many gentlemen who had been boys when she was a girl discovered simultaneously that they loved her, and they all ran to her house to propose to her, except Mr. Darling, who took a cab and nipped in first, and so he got her. He got all of her, except the innermost box and the kiss. He never knew about the box, and in time he gave up trying about the kiss. Wendy thought Napoleon could have gotten it, but I can picture him trying and then going off in a passion, slamming the door. Well, Mr. Darling used to boast to Wendy that her mother not only loved him, but respected him. He was one of those deep ones who know about stocks and shares. Of course, no one really knows, but he quite seemed to know, and he often said stocks were up and shares were down, in a way that would have made any woman respect him. Well, Mrs. Darling was married in white, and at first she kept the books perfectly, almost gleefully, as if it were a game. Not so much as a Brussels sprout was missing, but by and by whole cauliflowers dropped out, and instead of them there were pictures of babies without faces. She drew them when she should have been totting up. They were Mrs. Darling's guesses. Wendy came first, then John, and then Michael. For a week or two after Wendy came, it was doubtful whether they would be able to keep her, as she was another mouth to feed. Mr. Darling was frightfully proud of her, but he was a very honorable man, and he sat on the edge of Mrs. Darling's bed, holding her hand and calculating expenses, while she looked at him imploringly. She wanted to risk it, come what might. But that was not his way. His way was with a pencil and a piece of paper, and if she confused him with suggestions, he had to begin at the beginning again. "Now, don't interrupt," he would beg her. "I have £1.17 here, and 2 6 at the office. I can cut off my coffee at the office, say 10 shillings, making 2 9 6 with your 18, and 3 makes 397, with 500 in my checkbook makes 897. Who's that moving? 897 dot and carry. Don't speak, my own. And the £1 you lent to that man who came to the door. Quiet, child. Dot and carry, child. There, you've done it. Did I say 997? Yes, I said 997. The question is, can we try it for a year on 997? Of course we can, George, she cried. But she was prejudiced in Wendy's favor, and he was really the grander of character of the two. "Remember, Mumps," he warned her almost threateningly, and off he went again. Mumps, £1, that is what I have to put down, but I dare say it will be more like 30 shillings. Don't speak. Measles, 1.5, German measles, half a guinea, makes 2 15 6. Don't waggle your finger. Whooping cough, say 15 shillings. And so it went, and it added up differently each time. But at last, Wendy just got through, with mumps reduced to 12 6, and the 2 kinds of measles treated as one. This was the same excitement over John and Michael. Had an even narrower squeak, but both were kept, and soon you might have seen the 3 of them going in a row to Miss Folsom's kindergarten school, accompanied by their nurse. Mrs. Darling loved to have everything just so, and Mr. Darling had a passion for being exactly like his neighbors. So, of course, they had a nurse. As they were poor, owing to the amount of milk the children drink, the nurse was a prim Newfoundland dog called Nana, who had belonged to no one in particular until the Darlings engaged her in Kensington Gardens. She had always thought children important, however, and the time peeping into perambulars, and was much hated by careless nursemaids, whom she followed to their homes and complained of their mistresses. She proved to be quite a treasure of a nurse. How thorough she was at bath time, and up at any moment of the night if one of her charges made the slightest cry. Of course, her kennel was the nursery. She had a genius for knowing when a cough is a thing to have no patience with, and when it needs stocking around your throat. She believed to her last day in old-fashioned remedies like rhubarb leaf, and made sounds of contempt over all this new-fangled talk about germs and so on. It was a lesson in propriety to see her escorting the children to school, walking sedately by their side when they were well behaved, and butting them back into line if they strayed. On John's footer days, she never once forgot his sweater, and usually carried an umbrella in her mouth in case of rain. There is a room in the basement of Miss Folsom's school where the nurses wait. They sat on forms while Nana lay on the floor, but that was the only difference. They affected to ignore her as of an inferior social status to them, and she despised their light talk. She resented visits to the nursery from Mrs. Darling's friends, but if they did come, she first whipped off Michael's pinafore and put him into one with blue braiding, and smoothed out Wendy and made a dash at John's hair. No nursery could possibly have been more conducted more correctly, and Mr. Darlings knew it. Yet he sometimes wondered uneasily whether the neighbors talked. He had his position in the city to consider. Nana also troubled him in another way. He had sometimes a feeling that she didn't admire him. "I know she admires you tremendously, George," Mrs. Darling would assure him, and then she would sign to the children to be specially nice to father. Lovely dances followed, in which the only other servant, Lisa, was sometimes allowed to join. Such a midget she looked in her long skirt and maid's cap, though she had sworn, when engaged, that she would never see 10 again. The gaiety of those romps, and the gayest of all, was Mrs. Darling, who would pirouette so wildly that you could see all you could see of her was the kiss, and then you had to dash at her, you might have gotten it. There never was a simpler, happier family until the coming of Peter Pan. Now, Mrs. Darling first heard of Peter when she was tidying up her children's minds. It is the nightly custom of every good mother, after her children are asleep, to rummage in their minds and put things straight for the next morning, repacking into their proper places the many articles that have wandered during the day. If you could keep awake, but of course you can't, you would see your own mother doing this, and you would find it very interesting to watch her. It is quite like tidying up drawers. You would see her on her knees, I expect, lingering humorously over some of your contents, wondering where on earth you had picked up this thing, making discoveries sweet and not so sweet, pressing this to her cheek as if it were as nice as a kitten, and hurriedly stowing that out of sight. When you wake in the morning, the naughtiness and evil passions with which you went to bed have been folded up small and placed at the bottom of your mind, and on the top, beautifully aired, are spread out your prettier thoughts, ready for you to put on. I don't know whether you have ever seen a map of a person's mind. Doctors sometimes draw maps of other parts of you, and your own map can become intensely interesting, but catch them trying to draw a map of a child's mind, which is not only confused, but keeps going round all the time. There are zigzag lines on it, just like your temperature on a card, and these are probably roads in the island, for the Neverland is always more or less an island, with astonishing splashes of color here and there, and coral reefs and ravish-looking crafts in the offing, and savages on lonely lairs, and gnomes who are mostly tailors, and caves through which a river runs, and princes with 6 elder brothers, and a hut fast going to decay, and one very small old lady with a hooked nose. It would be an easy map if that were all, but there's also first day at school, religion, fathers, the round pond, needlework, murders, hangings, verbs that take the dative, chocolate pudding day, getting into braces, needlework, pence for pulling out your tooth yourself, and so on. And either these are parts of the island, or they are another map showing through. And it's all rather confusing, especially as nothing will stand still. Of course, Netherland is a very good deal. John's, for instance, had a lagoon with flamingos flying over it at which John was shooting, while Michael, who was very small, had a flamingo with lagoons flying over it. John lived in a boat turned upside down on the sands, Michael in a wigwam, Wendy in a house of leaves deftly sewn together, John had no friends, Michael had friends at night, and Wendy had a pet wolf, forsaken by its parents. But on the whole, the Neverlands have a family resemblance, and if they stood still in a row, you could say of them that they have each other's nose, and so forth. On these magic shores, children play, and they are forever breaching their coracles. We too have been there. We can still hear the sound of the surf, though we shall land no more. Of all the delectable islands, the Neverland is the snuggest and most compact. Not large and sprawly, the tedious distances between one adventure and another, but nicely cramped. When you play at it by day in the chairs and tablecloth, it is not in the least bit alarming. But in the 2 minutes before you can go to sleep, it becomes very real. That is why there are night lights. Occasionally, in her travels through her children's mind, Mrs. Darling found things she could not understand, and of these quite the most perplexing was the word Peter. She knew of no Peter, and yet he was here and there, in John and Michael's minds, while Wendy began to be scrawled all over with him. The name stood out bolder in letters than any of the other words, and as Mrs. Darling gazed, she felt that it had an oddly cocky appearance. "Yes, he is rather cocky," Wendy admitted with regret. Her mother had been questioning her. "But who is he, my pet?" "Well, he's Peter Pan, Mother." Now, at first Mrs. Darling did not know, but after thinking back into her childhood, she just remembered a Peter Pan who was said to live with the fairies. There were odd stories about him, as that when children died, he went part of the way with them, so that they would not be frightened. She had believed in him at the time, but now that she was married and full of sense, she quite doubted whether there was such a person. "Besides," she said to Wendy, "he would be grown up by this time." "Oh, no, he isn't grown up," Wendy assured her confidently, "and he is just my size." She meant that he was her size in both mind and body. She did not know how she knew, but she just knew it. Well, Mrs. Darling consulted Mr. Darling, but he smiled pooh-pooh. "Mark my words," he said, "it is the same nonsense Nana has been putting into their heads. Just sort of an idea a dog would have. Leave it alone, and it'll blow over." But it would not blow over, and soon the troublesome boy gave Mrs. Darling quite a shock. Children have the strangest adventures without being troubled by them. For instance, they may remember to mention, a week after the event happened, that when they were in the wood, they had met their dead father and had a game with him. It was in this casual way that Wendy one morning made a disquieting revelation. Some leaves of a tree have been found on the nursery floor, which certainly were not there when the children went to bed, and Mrs. Darling was puzzling over them when Wendy said, with a tolerant smile, "I do believe it is that Peter again." "Whatever do you mean, Wendy?" "It is so naughty of him not to wipe his feet," Wendy said, sighing. She was a tidy child. She explained, in quite a matter-of-fact way, that she thought Peter sometimes came to the nursery in the night and sat on the foot of her bed and played on his pipes to her. Unfortunately, she never woke, so she didn't know how she knew. She just knew. "I think he comes in by the window," she said. "My love, it's 3 floors up." "Were not the leaves at the foot of the window, Mother?" Well, it's quite true, the leaves had been found very near the window. Mrs. Darling did not know what to think, for it all seemed so natural to Wendy that you couldn't dismiss it by just saying she'd been dreaming. But on the other hand, there were leaves. Mrs. Darling examined them very carefully. They were skeleton leaves, but she was sure they did not come from any tree that grew in England. She crawled about the floor, peering at it with a candle for marks of a strange foot. She rattled the poker up the chimney and tapped on the walls. She led down a tape from the window to the pavement. It was a sheer drop of 30 feet, without so much as a spout to climb up by. Certainly Wendy had been dreaming. But Wendy had not been dreaming, as the very next night showed, the night on which the extraordinary adventures of these children may be said to have begun. On the night we speak of, all the children were once more in bed, and sat down. It happened to be Nana's evening off, and Mrs. Darling had bathed them and sung to them till one by one they had let go of her hand and slid away into the land of sleep. All were looking so safe and cozy that she smiled at her fears now, and sat down tranquilly by the fire to sew. It was something for Michael, who on his birthday was getting into shirts. The fire was warm, however, and the nursery dimly lit by 3 night lights, and presently the sewing lay on Mrs. Darling's lap, and then her head nodded, oh, so gracefully, and she was asleep. Look at the 4 of them, Wendy and Michael over there, John here, and Mrs. Darling by the fire. There should have been a 4th nightlight. While she slept, she had a dream. She dreamt that the Neverland had come too near, and that a strange boy had broken through from it. He did not alarm her, for she thought she had seen him before in the faces of many women who have no children. Perhaps he is to be found in the faces of some mothers also. But in her dream, he had rent the film that obscures the Neverland, and she saw Wendy and John and Michael peeping through the gap. The dream by itself would have been a trifle, but while she was dreaming, the window of the nursery blew open, and a boy did drop on the floor. He was accompanied by a strange light, no bigger than your fist, which darted about the room like a living thing, and I think it must have been this light that awakened Mrs. Darling. She started up with a cry and saw the boy, and somehow she knew at once this was Peter Pan. If you or I or Wendy had been there, we should have seen that he was very like Mrs. Darling's kiss. He was a lovely boy, clad in skeleton leaves and the juice that oozed out of the trees, but the most entrancing thing about him was that he had all his first teeth. When he saw she was a grown-up, he gnashed the little pearls at her. My goodness, that's chapter 1. I told you it was a long one. Goodness me. Coming up next time, we will move on to Peter Pan chapter 2, which is called The Shadow, and we will have that for you in our next stream. Wow. Okay, let's catch up on chat quickly, and then we got to go. I hate Peter knowing who he really is. Okay. Let's see. Invis Toby, I don't want to spoil it if you don't want spoilers. Yes, please don't spoil it. Read the book, or one of them. Whether I finished or not is another matter. Everyone loves a smart man who can do mathematics. Yeah. Very, very true, I think. Which would not be me, by the way. Of all the things that I learned in school, in different levels of school, math was the one thing that I completely sucked at. Still do to this day. If it weren't for calculators, I couldn't figure out anything. Oh my. Yeah, that was a very mighty chapter. It was a dictionary. It was very difficult to follow along. I hope you were able to. If not, listen back when you've got something else going on. It gets better as we go through. That was just a lot of exposing and setting stories and the framework for stuff to come. So that's often the case in the first chapter. But yeah, that's Peter Pan. Looking forward to hearing our next chapter called The Shadow. Guys, thanks so much for joining the stream on this Saturday night. I'll be back again on Tuesday night. We stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights, 10 p.m. on our time here in Malaysia. Wherever that is on your part of the planet, I'm sure you can figure out. You're smart people. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks for coming along. Subscribe, share, like, whatever it is. We're up well over 100 subscribers on twitch.tv. Thank you so much for that. And our follows on Facebook are increasing every day. We thank you again for that. Until next time, Michael Fax 66 following. Thank you so much, Michael. All right. I think that's what that said. It goes by so fast, I kind of miss it. Anyway, you joined us at the end, and we thank you. We'll see you again on Tuesday night. Until then, I am Jay Sheldon, and I'm not wearing pants. Good night.